Hey, Carnation, this is Frank Palms, quarterback coach here at the University of Louisville. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you Evan Conley, one of our quarterbacks. A fantastic young man, a hard worker, a leader on and off the field, but most importantly, he's a man of faith. I can't wait to hear his testimony that he's about to share with all of us. Hope you guys enjoy. And go Cards.
Hey guys, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Evan Conley. I play football here at Louisville, and I've really been involved with FCA since day one of getting here. You know, I met Chris when I first came here on my first visit, and have really been involved with FCA, you know, since day one. So when he asked me if I wanted to give my testimony, I was a little nervous at first, because honestly, I kind of always had felt like my testimony wasn't as big, or as, you know, there wasn't like a big change per se that, or struggle like other people went through. But after talking with Chris, just feeling that like my story can be just as important as others, because there's a lot of other people that have my story. So I'm excited to be able to share it with you guys. So growing up, you know, I had really strong family faith. You know, my dad and my mother both instilled, you know, strong Christian beliefs in me and my brother from a really early age. You know, I was baptized when I was like 7. So, you know, it's something to where like I always grew up and I always knew the right answer in Sunday school. I always had all these verses and I knew right from wrong at all times, but I didn't always have the closest and most intimate relationship with God. You know, growing up and still am, I'm a very like stubborn person. So lots of times I liked to think I could do a lot of things on my own, whether that was through sports or just other aspects of my life. I oftentimes, you know, felt that there was a lot of pressure put on me to make things work, and not as much, you know, relying on God. For me, growing up, Philippians 4:13, that was verse Tebow always had on his eye black, and I was a huge Florida Gator fan, a huge fan of him. So I always knew that verse, but I think it took me until last year to really understand it. Like, I knew what it meant, but I like to focus on the I can do all things part, not the I can do all things through him part. So for me, it was just been really trying to change that aspect of putting less pressure on myself and giving more to God. Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take." And so, for me, having this, you know, growing up as a strong Christian, but not having this intimate relationship, this really changed this past year. Well, really during quarantine, you know, I had a good freshman year. You know, I had good success and that kind of thing, but I still struggled to find that happiness even in the success. And that's something that I had always put so much emphasis on football and my sport, what it meant, and also just in other aspects of my life, whether it was, you know, school or any other way that I would be in some sort of competition. It'd be, you know, it was all about success, that I would try to find my, you know, fulfillment through success. And really when I got to college and I left, you know, that home where you have kind of that buffer, especially for me, because I had a really strong father figure who was, you know, such a strong Christian, and same with my mother, that, you know, I kind of felt like I started to lose that, because that almost felt like a cushion, that like if my faith ever slipped, it almost was like they were there to help pick me up. But now without that, I felt that slip, and then I was there by myself, right? There was no buffer for me. So about, I guess, really this past spring was supposed to be, a big one for me. I was supposed to go in and compete and try to earn a starting job, and I actually injured my shoulder, and I didn't really know it at the beginning, and it was really like messing with my performance. and it took me about a week before I finally went in and got it evaluated, and then I found out like I needed to take some time off and let it rest because I really couldn't do anything on it, and that was a really hard thing for me because I love competing and playing my sport, but and it just kind of dragged me down a little bit because football meant so much to me, and I was left without that outlet per se. And then when we go home actually let me back up a little bit because the really cool part of this is because this spring I've been in a discipleship program with Chris and a few other guys from our team and JR from baseball. But then when we went to the winter recharge, I was in a little small group, and I wasn't really the most connected in it. I wasn't the most connected in it then, but actually what happened was our leader during the quarantine process, he sent out a text to the group, and we started having these like Zoom meetings. And these Zoom meetings really sparked my desire to try to find that intimate relationship, because I'd been missing my own personal intimate relationship with God. I'd been close before when I was younger, but I'd never really felt like I'd hit a point where I was consistently in this walk with God and in this path where I was growing with Him. And so that was an awesome outlet for me to have in that group. But then as well with Chris's group, as we came back and started to get to meet again and then dive more in, it just having people to connect and grow with, I felt like was my biggest difference to where I could actually find this relationship that really I've been looking for my whole life, but hadn't got to. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another." And I mean, that's just essentially what has happened with me over this past, this fall and then spring and summertime. It's been an incredible change. I used to feel like whatever my performance was in practice or in a game or whatever it was, that dictated not only my entire my attitude during that, but the entire day, and can lead to the entire weeks. And I just finally hit this point where I realized, I wasn't playing football to find success. I was playing football to praise God and to glorify God. And it just felt like it just took so much relief off of me and so much, freedom to play with the freedom and the lack of worry, because I know that no matter what happens, if I'm glorifying God, then I'm serving a bigger purpose than my sport, And so this was really like the first time I felt a true relationship. And I feel like you hear lots of times when you think about a change and you hope for this change, that everything just starts going great and starts going good, but that's not really how it happens. I feel like as your relationship with Christ grows, the amount He tests you also is going to grow. And so just like anyone else, and just like any time before, I'd faced tests and challenges that that every college kid faces, and just specifically as athletes, we have extra stresses and pressures added onto us that can affect how we feel. And specifically this past season hasn't been the easiest on me, but it's actually the best I've felt. Despite not having that success that I'd found the year before, I felt more internally at peace and more internally successful because of my relationship with God and how that was. And not only my relationship with God, but what that relationship created in my friendships and in my connecting with others. It's been an awesome thing. I've been able to work with a few other guys on our team and starting a player-led Bible study. And after the one after one of the weeks we had where my teammate AJ shared, I sat there and I was talking with him, and I ended up sending this text to Chris because I just thought it was so incredible, because we had, within the last, I guess it was 3 days really, we'd had a student athlete lead our discipleship class because Chris couldn't be there. Then we had Spidey giving the message on FCA, and we had AJ giving a message, in our team Bible study, and that was 3 times within the 3 days that it was us as student athletes leading, and to see that and just to feel a part of making a positive impact for Christ's kingdom was really more satisfying to me than anything that's happened. Continuing on with kind of the theme of not focusing so much on success, is that doesn't mean that you don't have to care about that. I mean, we wear on the back of our shirts all the time, run in such a way that you may win, and I think that means as well that you're focusing on your relationship with God. But I think God wants us to be successful. We're supposed to give our all in all we do. God blessed us with talents. We're not supposed to not utilize the talents God has to the maximum potential. But it's as long as we keep that God in the main focus and in the windshield, then it can do a lot for us. But the biggest challenge, I guess, not necessarily the biggest challenge, but just the fact that I face every single day. I gotta face the decision of how I want to live my life, and how are my daily impacts affecting my relationships with Christ. So one of the verses that's kind of touched on that with me is Galatians 1:10, where it says, "Obviously I'm not trying to win the approval of people, but of God. If pleasing people were my goal, I would not be Christ's servant." And so if I'm choosing to be, and that's what I want to be, is God's servant, then every single day I have to wake up with the conscious decision that my thoughts, my actions, my words, whatever it is I'm doing not to glorify somebody else, not to win praise from somebody else, but to glorify God. I'm going to close in prayer if y'all bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, I just pray and thank you for this day. I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for all these people that are meeting together, virtually, Lord, to bring glory and honor to you, Lord. I just pray that you be with this ministry as we continue to fight during these tough times of COVID, Lord. I pray that you be with all the student athletes, Lord, that they are in sound mind and body, and that they stay safe from the virus and any other ailments that are out there, Lord. I just pray, and I thank you for this opportunity to share your story of what you've done in my life, Lord. And I pray that I was able to reach people's hearts, Lord. And I just pray this in your name. Amen.
Let the king of my heart be the mountain where I run, the fountain I drink from. Oh, he is my song. Let the king of my heart be the shadow where I hide, the ransom for my life. Oh, he is my song. You are good, you're good. Oh, 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 king of my heart be the wind inside my sails, the anchor in the waves. Oh, he is my song. Let the king of my heart be the fire inside my veins, the let me down. And you're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. 'Cause you're good, you're good. Oh, 'cause you're good, you're good. Oh, 'cause you're good, you're good. Oh, you're good, you're good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, and you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good.